Nae'Qwan Tomlin, NBA Draft Scouting Report. Okay. All right. We're doing this. Nae'Qwan has been a good college player at
Yep.
times. He's also one of the more unique prospects in this NBA draft. Certainly could be like one of those guys who falls through the cracks and surprises people. And maybe a GM is way smarter than everybody else and takes a chance on him. He is 63rd on our big board. You had him 75th. I had him 66th. Neither of us believe he should be in the drafted field of players in this draft, but that's where he landed, and we're doing the top 75, so we're going to discuss him today. Started his career at Kansas State. Actually started his career at much smaller levels than Kansas State. Got to Kansas State, then ended up at Memphis this last year for a variety of reasons. We should acknowledge there are some off-court stuff here. That's the departure from Kansas State. There was an incident that was investigated by campus police that ended up leading to him being dismissed from Kansas State basketball. Jerome Tang, his head coach, kind of muddy on exactly what was going on with the higher-ups at Kansas State. He ends up at Memphis, where he was good when he played at Memphis, but he just didn't play a ton in his final season. So what's one word to describe Nae'Qwan Tomlin?
Lanky. He was productive enough in college, but every time I watched him play, it just looked like he was a collection of limbs that did something. He's very, very lanky. It worked for him. He when he was on the court, he put up numbers. But every time I watch him play, it's like that's a lanky guy.
A collection of limbs is hilarious. I said strange, which a collection of limbs maps with the fact that he's strange. I think his entire path to this point has been strange.
Yes.
He's got to be the only player that's potentially going to be in the NBA whose high school on Basketball Reference is listed as Urban Assembly School, parentheses, did not play. And then 3 years of non-Division I basketball leads him to Kansas State, where he was good. He started 36 games at Kansas State and had some pretty huge moments for that team. And then
Yeah.
at Memphis, he shoots the piss out of the ball. He shoots 40% from three, and all of a sudden people think he could get drafted. His entire path to this point has been strange. The incident at Kansas State was strange. His play has been erratic and strange. Everything about this guy's strange, and nothing that happens to him going forward will surprise me. Is it more likely he hits his ceiling or his floor in the NBA?
I think it's much more likely he hits his floor. There is a question of, okay, well, how high is his ceiling? And I'd buy into that. I think the tools are there for him to become a productive NBA player. Things have to break right for that to happen. But I think he's much more likely to hit his floor than to become a productive, consistent NBA guy.
I said floor. There's way too many red flags here
Yeah.
in a bazillion different ways, and the talent doesn't really warrant taking the risk on it, to be honest, especially in a draft where nobody expects anything from second rounders. It's kind of, let's just let this one pass. What's a good team fit for Nae'Qwan Tomlin?
I think it's the Warriors, a team that's kind of on the cusp of rebuild. Isn't going to ask a ton of him though. Basically, they're going to ask him to go rebound, and that's one of those things his collection of limbs is pretty good at. So for me, the Warriors.
I thought about the Warriors for this one. I landed on the Timberwolves. I feel like I could have picked any team out of a hat and had the same argument here. I don't know. Like I can envision him playing next to Anthony Edwards and like they get along as personalities, just like fun-loving dudes. And he just catches and shoots corner threes and guards a little bit. I think the Timberwolves started a player that out of college, I would not have thought much different of than Nae'Qwan Tomlin in this playoff run at the four. So I don't know. That's where I landed, but I don't feel good about any team as an option here. Peak year stats in the NBA. What does Nae'Qwan Tomlin's best year look like?
2 points and 3 boards in about 5 minutes a game.
I said 0, 0, 0, 0, and 0. I don't think this player plays a minute in the NBA. I'll say it. This is
Okay.
one of two guys that I landed on that for from this entire exercise, and I don't feel very nice about it, but I do not think he will ever play a minute in the NBA. In 5 years, where will he be? That is the sign of things to come from me. Starter, bench, G League, overseas, or a podcaster?
Yeah, I think he'll be a podcaster. I think he'll be a podcaster.
I think he'll be out of basketball too. Like I don't see the life path here and how he's kind of splashed onto the scene screaming like guy who loves basketball. I don't think he's going to grind it out overseas or in the G League if this doesn't work. I think he'll just move on to other things.
I think so too. I think so too.
We're being harsh, but hey, we're at the very bottom of our big boards, folks. Most likely to Nae'Qwan Tomlin is the most likely player in this draft class to what?
This goes into podcasting. I think he's going to reveal a slew of hilarious Penny Hardaway stories on a podcast.
I had exactly that written down. I said, like, most likely to tell a crazy college story on a podcast. I could 100% see it. I'm sure he has plenty of stories from both Jerome Tang and Penny Hardaway days.
Yes.
I landed on one that's a little more mean, but I couldn't shake the image of this in my head. I said Nae'Qwan Tomlin is the most likely to fail a lie detector test. Um, do you ever get those like recommended videos popping up on your feed of like the celebrities take the lie detector test? Have you ever seen those?
No, but
You
I
haven't
now
seen
want
these?
to. But I
Okay.
now want to.
So yeah, Google's gonna somehow get this for you, but I think it's like Vanity Fair that just like straps up like two celebrity friends. Let's take a lie detector test. And I just envision like Nae'Qwan Tomlin being put on that and just being asked like stupid questions about his basketball career. And I think he just lies. I don't know. I don't trust the guy in any way. I don't trust his game. There's my answer. If you enjoyed or hated this video, there's 74 more of these leading up to the NBA draft on the channel. Scouting reports for every player in this draft class. Go watch them. The NBA draft is coming up, and I've got something awesome for you. We are partnering with the people at NBA 2K Lab. NBA 2K is the best video game on earth. The people at 2K Lab are making some awesome stuff to make that game even more fun, and they just launched their 2024 NBA Draft Simulator, where you can find the official Sleepers Media big board. We ranked our top 75 players in this draft class. Me, Carter, Brian Ralph, Riley Davis. We did it together, and it is featured on the 2K Lab NBA Draft Simulator. You can take control of any team in the draft, play GM with just one click, and see our entire rankings before these videos even come out. Check out the link in the description of this video to try out the draft sim for yourself, and you can find more mini games at nba2klab.com/nba-mini-games.